Hey, motorcycle enthusiasts, a dirty carburetor can ruin your bike's performance, rough idle, poor throttle response, or an engine that just won't run smoothly. But don't worry, today we're going to show you how to professionally clean your carburetor using an ultrasonic cleaner, step by step. We'll explain exactly which cleaning solution we use, which ultrasonic cleaner works best, and share our best tips and tricks to get your carb back to peak performance. Because one thing is clear, only a truly clean carburetor can run perfectly. So stick around, watch the video till the end, and don't forget to check the video description for all the details on the products we use. First, it's absolutely important that your carburetor is fully disassembled. All components should be removed, including the slide guide, for example. Whether or not you separate the individual carbs depends on the condition of the fuel inlet seals. If they need to be replaced or are still sealing tightly, that will determine whether the carbs should stay together or not. In our video, the fuel rail seals were recently replaced, so we're leaving them in place. However, in most cases, it's highly recommended to separate the carburetors from each other for proper cleaning. We also have a detailed video on how to do this. Check it out on our channel. Now you can see that the idle adjustment screw is still in place. If I need to rotate the carburetor inside the ultrasonic cleaner, like flipping it over, this screw will get in the way. So, I'm going to remove it completely now. I also want to keep the throttle plate slightly open, so the cleaning solution can reach every internal passage. To make sure the throttle plates stay open, I'll manually hold them open by hand. Now I'm using a small plastic spacer. In my case, it's just a large plastic wall anchor. I carefully insert it between the throttle plates. Don't worry, nothing will get damaged. One very important thing. Everything I explain in this video is based on my own experience. These are not universal recommendations. Of course, you need to check the chemical compatibility of any cleaner with your carburetor's materials. That information is always listed on the product label. Today, I'm simply showing you how I personally do it. All right, the carb is prepped. Now let's move on to the ultrasonic cleaner. I generally use ultrasonic cleaners from Bandelin. Today, we're working with the RK156BH, a heated ultrasonic cleaner. It has two control knobs. One is a timer, which can be set for up to 15 minutes, or switch to continuous operation. The second knob is for temperature control. It can be set up to 80 degrees Celsius, 176 degrees Fahrenheit, and automatically regulates itself. Now let's take a look inside. This is a 9-liter tank with a 6-liter working volume and a maximum ultrasonic power of 860 watts. If you look here, you'll see a fill level marking. This indicates the minimum amount of liquid required for proper operation. I've filled it slightly below that for now because the carburetor and cleaning solution still need to be added. At this point, the tank contains only plain water. You might notice a thin foam layer on the surface. That's because before filling the tank, I added a tiny drop of dish soap. This helps break the water's surface tension, allowing the cleaning solution to reach every internal passage more effectively. All right, friends, let's talk about fluid levels again. Every ultrasonic cleaner has a fill mark that indicates the minimum water level. Here's something important to know. Overfilling the tank slightly reduces the ultrasonic cleaner's power. Underfilling the tank slightly increases the power in the liquid. If you decide to experiment with fluid levels, be careful and don't overdo it. You could damage the cleaner or reduce its effectiveness. Another important point, make sure there's nothing on the bottom of the tank. No sand, no debris, and no residue from previous cleanings. The tank must be completely clean because any dirt on the bottom absorbs some of the ultrasonic energy, reducing the cleaning performance. This is especially important because the ultrasonic transducers are mounted underneath the tank. Speaking of ultrasonic cleaners, we'll soon be releasing a comparison video between this machine and a much cheaper model. So make sure to subscribe and hit like so you don't miss it. You might think about pushing the attached basket against the edge of the tank, but don't do that. We make sure the basket hangs freely in the liquid without touching the sides. Now the big question, Which cleaning solution do I use? For technical carburetor cleaning, I use Tickopur R33. The correct concentration is just as important. It's printed right on the bottle. The recommended ratio is 3 to 5% in the ultrasonic bath. I always go with 5%, which means for the 6 liters of water we filled, we need to add 300 milliliters of Tickopur R33. The label recommends a cleaning time of 1 to 10 minutes. From my experience, the same solution can be reused multiple times. I've successfully run up to 3 10-minute cycles without any issues, as long as the contamination level allows it. If the carb is extremely dirty, you may need to replace the solution sooner. One more important thing. Pre-clean your carburetor as much as possible before putting it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Use brake cleaner or gasoline with a brush to remove loose dirt and grease. This keeps contamination in the ultrasonic bath to a minimum. The next key factor is temperature. From my experience, 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, is ideal. This significantly improves the cleaning process. You can see the 2 indicator lights here. The top light means the unit is powered on. The bottom light stays on until the target temperature is reached. This light tells you exactly when the bath has reached the correct temperature. All right, friends. The correct temperature is now reached. In the meantime, I've already added the cleaning solution, which gives the liquid a slightly yellowish tint. I've also slowly placed the carburetor into the bath. Let me show you how I do it. Take the carburetor and gently rock it back and forth as you lower it into the water. This helps air bubbles escape, ensuring the liquid can reach every passage inside the carb. Because remember, cleaning only happens where the liquid can reach. The ultrasonic cleaning process works by cavitation. This is a mechanical cleaning effect, and it only occurs where the cleaning solution has full contact with the carburetor. I've made a small tool to help with this process. I have several of these in different sizes, and I'll show you exactly how I use them. It's just a regular syringe from the pharmacy and a small piece of tubing. I pull up some of the cleaning solution into the syringe and use it to flush out all the passages and areas that need extra attention. This also pushes out any trapped air from the channels. Make sure to do this for the entire carburetor. As you can see, part of the carb is still sticking out of the liquid. So after the first cleaning cycle, I'll need to flip it over for another round. I've demonstrated this process with 2 examples so far. Here's another example. This small brass tube with a tiny hole is where the choke system receives fuel. Right now, we're looking inside the float chamber. You can also attach the tube from the syringe to this opening and draw the cleaning solution into it. This ensures that even this passage is fully flooded and properly cleaned. This step is extremely important. It takes some time and effort, but it's well worth it. Like everything else, it's also a matter of experience. You'll need to see what works best for your specific carburetor. All right, now I'm turning the machine on. The first 10-minute cycle is about to start. It's important to keep the lid on. This helps maintain the set temperature. I've already turned the heater off because with a high-powered ultrasonic cleaner like this, the transducers don't just generate ultrasonic waves, they also produce a lot of heat, so the temperature will stay stable. All right, I'm switching it on now. See you in 10 minutes. All right, friends, the first 10-minute cycle is done, and as you can see, the cleaning solution has darkened quite a bit. The ultrasonic cleaner has done its job. The cleaning solution is designed to lift dirt and keep it suspended in the liquid. If you have a heavily contaminated carburetor, now would be a good time to flush all the passages again to rinse out any loosened dirt. This step ensures that all debris is completely removed from the carburetor's internal channels. So, we've now cleaned this side for 10 minutes. I'll take the carburetor out and flip it over, just like I showed earlier, to minimize air bubbles in the passages. Now, I'll run another 10-minute cycle on the other side. Flipping the carb isn't just about making sure all sides are cleaned. There's another reason for it. Even though this is a high-quality ultrasonic cleaner that distributes waves evenly, The cleaning effect is still slightly stronger near the bottom of the tank. That means even if your carb is fully submerged, flipping it after 5 to 10 minutes can improve the results. Also, double check that the basket is hanging freely in the liquid. All right, let's move on to the next 10-minute cleaning cycle. One important thing, don't overdo the cleaning time. Too much time or excessive heat, especially when using Tickopur R33, can damage the surface of the carburetor. This cleaning solution is alkaline, and alkaline cleaners are designed to break down organic contamination, which includes fuel residue and additives. So, stick to the recommended times and temperatures. All right, I'm putting the lid back on. Let's start the next 10-minute cycle. All right, the second cleaning cycle on the other side is finished. I've removed the carburetor and rinsed it thoroughly with clean water. Do not use compressed air to dry the carb. If any dirt is still left inside, especially on a heavily contaminated carburetor, compressed air could push debris deeper into narrow passages, making it even harder to remove. Here's how I do it instead. I use a simple rubber hose. One end goes in my mouth and the other end is placed over the carb passages. Now I gently blow air through the passages, checking whether the airflow is even on both sides. If I feel that air is blocked or uneven, that tells me there's still some dirt inside. In that case, I'll need to either flush the passages again or run the carb through the ultrasonic cleaner for another 5 minutes. So, I place the hose over the passage and gently blow a little air through. This helps dry out the carb. But again, do not use compressed air. If you must use it, keep a good distance and be extremely careful, just enough to speed up drying without forcing dirt into tight spaces. Now, if you take a close look, even the hard-to-reach areas are completely clean. But for some of you, this level of finish might not be enough. You might want it to look even shinier. We've now cleaned the carburetor using Tickopur R33, which is designed to remove the alkaline residues from fuel and additives. If you're looking for an even better finish and want the surface to look more polished, you can use Tickopur TR3. This is an acidic cleaner and it enhances the visual appearance of the carburetor. We'll show you some comparison images. Here's a Yamaha XJ 900 4-cylinder carburetor. In this first image, the carb has just been cleaned with Tickopur R33. Technically, it's now fully functional and ready to use. And now here's the second image. You can see a huge difference. This is the same carburetor, but it has gone through a second cleaning cycle using Tickopur TR3. The recommended mix is also 5% in fresh water, and usually just 2 cycles of 5 minutes each are enough. So after the first 5-minute cycle, I flip the carb over for another 5 minutes. Since it didn't fully fit inside the tank, this ensured an even all-around cleaning. And the final result? I think you'll agree, it looks absolutely stunning. All right, guys, I have some important information for you. But first, one quick thing. Check the video description. We've linked everything we used in this video, including the ultrasonic cleaner and the cleaning solutions, so you don't have to go searching for them. Now, here's a very important point. You've seen how much space there is in this large basket, and you might be wondering, why the hell is he only putting the carburetor in there and not everything else? It's a valid question. If I push the carb over to the side, there would be plenty of room for the float bowl covers, slides, slide guides, and all the other small parts. But here's why I don't do that. I always clean the carburetor first, then I clean the small parts separately. Why? Because every additional surface inside the ultrasonic cleaner absorbs energy and reduces the overall cleaning power. This means that if too many parts are inside at once, the cleaning results may not be as good. If you're cleaning a 4-cylinder carb rack, you could place the whole unit inside the cleaner. But I generally don't recommend that. I almost always separate the carburetors before cleaning. Why? Because the seals on the T connectors and fuel rails need to be replaced eventually, especially if they're old or worn out. All right, friends, take a look here. I've got all the small parts ready. I place them in a regular kitchen strainer, which works perfectly fine for this. In most cases, 10 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner is enough to get them fully clean. These parts haven't gone in yet, so it's up to you whether you want to run them through an acidic cleaner for a shinier finish. The float bowl covers should definitely go into the acidic ultrasonic bath if you want the carburetor to look extra nice. And that's it. The carburetor is completely cleaned and ready for reassembly. In our other videos, we show you how to properly disassemble and reassemble your carb, as well as topics like rebuild kits and how to replace carburetor diaphragms. So make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and check the video description for all the important details.